Let me know when you're ready.
You ready? Wait a minute. That's 939. 507. You're ready.
Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday.
Hey.
Another week of spreading love unapologetically. Go ahead and introduce yourself, lady.
I'm Miss Carr. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Tamora Freeman. Welcome.
And I'm Gina Kenny with Epic. We are here with another episode of Spreading Love Unapologetically. I believe Bam is going to take the show first, correct?
Yeah, just briefly. So, hey, you guys, it's Wednesday.
It's
Hey.
Wednesday.
Hump day.
We made it to hump day.
We still, our subject is still, we are human.
Yes. Mental health. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it reminds us all that we are still human. And as I look at my colleagues, my comrades on a daily basis, we have so many discussions about the things that go on inside of prisons and the things that go on once you leave the prison. And I really wanted to have a discussion around that because one of the things Gaylisa talked about when she left and returned to this wonderful world of citizenship.
Wonderful world.
Yes, is she didn't get, the necessary support in terms of human mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing I wanted to talk about. And then the second thing, hi. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is all of us making sure that we remain and take care of ourselves, our mental health. Whatever it is that gives you your oomph, it's important that we do that. And so I want to introduce our guest, Miss Nikki B.
My dad calls me that, but
Yes, but I'm
stuck.
gonna give it to you. I'll let you. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me on the show today. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. Well, my name is Nicole Hutchins, but I was on the show last night and I was telling them the story about my name. My name is actually, my dad gave me this name, Nikki B. So his last name is Baldwin. So, of course, his name was not on the birth certificate, so I was not given that name. So playing sports and being such a tomboy growing up, he just kind of just gave me the name Nikki B. And it just kind of stuck. So that was like my basketball name.
Alias
That's
name.
right. So a lot of people were like, hey, Nikki B. So yeah, that's me. I'm actually the founder of Amber's Lighthouse. And it is a resource. I actually just, it's been in the works for a very long time. And it's a resource for individuals and families to, to reach out in regard to mental health, right? To take away that stigma, making sure that people are informed, understand all aspects of mental health, right? So I know for sure there was a situation with, in regards to Amber's Lighthouse, how that came about is that my sister actually suffered from mental illness and no one knew about it. So she was suffering behind closed doors and no one knew, so that was really the motivation and the why behind Amber's Lighthouse. And I'm also a financial consultant, and I actually encounter a lot of people who do suffer from, mental illness, but don't realize it.
Yes.
But it's really because of a lot of the stressors of life. A lot of times from a certain demographic that you come from,
Right.
those stressors and those issues actually just bring on something that's already there. So yeah, that is what I do.
We have a couple guests. You might want to mute yourself for now. We have two guests here right now. If you two want to go ahead and introduce yourselves. Charmaine.
My name is Charmaine Brown.
Nice to meet you, Charmaine.
What's going on?
Before my number was 31047. Currently live in Youngstown, Ohio.
Women, Charmaine.
Okay, go ahead.
Charmaine Brown. I was an inmate at Ohio Reform Women. My number was 31046. I currently live in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yep. Welcome to the show. Well, I asked Charmaine to come because she did reach out to me earlier this week, and she got a lot of things going on. She got a lot of things on her plate. She has taken on 5 kids, none of them her biological kids.
Goodness.
And her niece, she just acquired 2 more because her niece was just sentenced to ORW for 18 years for a serious offense. Of course, for 8, so we don't have to get into that.
Right.
But she did reach out to me because she cannot handle it. She doesn't have a life. So same thing we're talking about as far as mental health and recognizing that she had one child. She got it from 11-year-old to a 4-month-old.
Oh, goodness, girl.
She's
God bless
48, and none of them is her sister's kids. And she said, I need somebody to talk to. I am losing
She
my
definitely
mind.
So
Yeah.
like nieces or is that
These are my great nieces and great nephews. The 11-year-old, he is mine. I chose to adopt him at 2 months old. He's 11 now. So I did commit to that. That's my son. But they're all my kids.
But
you're
Some
one.
I asked for and some I didn't.
What she said she was?
Pardon me?
What'd you say? You asked for what?
I said one I asked for, the other ones I didn't.
Right.
But like Gay Lisa told me, be careful what you ask God for.
What you asked for?
You gotta be careful what you ask
Yeah,
for.
because he gonna,
Come back in tenfold, obviously.
Yes.
So I wanted her to come on, so we can love on her. I've been reaching out to her. We do know each other from being incarcerated. We, she follows me, we Facebook friends, but we really haven't talked in 20-something years, but that's the thing about my lifetime friends. And that's the thing about that. This is what we do. We are candle holders.
Right.
Yes.
We hold the light up, and then those who seek it out come, because the greatest thing she could do is ask for help.
Yes.
Or ask for somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
You guys gotta forgive me. I had to leave from upstairs. I got my kids up there. Come to the basement. So welcome to the dungeon.
was that 5 or 6 kids?
It's
5.
5.
But
Well, go ahead, Charmaine. Anything? Or you just want to chill, whatever?
Are you in need of anything?
Yes,
I mean,
she's in need.
I have 3 and 2 are under my roof still, and I know how
She
hard it
said
is
for
just
a
to
can of
feed them.
formula is $23.
No, I know, right?
How old are the kids again?
I got an 11-year-old. I got a 9-year-old. She'll be 10 in August. I got an 8-year-old. He'll be 9 next month, the 24th. I got a 5-year-old, and then I got a 4-month-old.
5-year-old is boy or girl?
He's a boy.
And then you said the 5-month-old?
4-month-old.
4-month-old.
She local to Cleveland.
She in Youngstown.
She's in Youngstown.
And
Yeah.
4-month-old boy or girl?
Girl.
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 She's in Youngstown.
Good.
11
Hey,
years
Thomas Carr.
She need girl clothes.
Yeah. What
Good
the
evening, good afternoon.
are girls or boys?
Good. I don't want nothing. I'm good. I'm
No,
just
no. The
No,
girls
that's
or
not what we're
boys.
asking. We're wanting specifics. We have people that are on the live that are actually
They
asking.
asking, yeah. So I
to
told
spread
you,
a
yeah.
little love. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Oh.
Here for. We know you're not asking for anything. You just wanted to be a part of this, and we appreciate you showing up and telling your story first
That's
and
it.
foremost.
But don't pass up a blessing.
Don't
Yes,
pass up a
don't
blessing.
Yeah.
Is the 9-year-old a boy or girl?
You
Hello?
made it.
Is the 9-year-old a boy or girl?
She's a girl.
Girl, and 8-year-old is a.
Boy.
All right.
And 11-year-old is a boy.
3 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
But you know, a can of milk is $24. So that's
Yeah,
Where
that
does
ain't no
she?
joke.
Where does she live?
Youngstown.
Youngstown.
Okay.
Thank you.
We also have on StreamYard today Swift Justice, which I had to mute him for a little bit while she was speaking. Please ignore the background noise. He is one of our comrades that are locked between those trenches and them walls, slaved by the state. Hang on a second there, Swift. Swift, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. I sure can. How y'all doing today?
Hey, Swift, how are you? Welcome.
Nice to hear your voice.
Y'all know I enjoy being on the show. I appreciate y'all inviting me again.
You just to talk up a little bit louder if you can. The background noise you already know is a little louder. We want to make sure that people hear you.
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't go to the basement to get away from my kids. My kids are just going butt wild right now.
I'm hearing. Tell him time out. We appreciate him always coming into and keeping up with not just our individual organizations and us ladies as a Swift's been putting a lot of knowledge out there from behind the walls. He's faced a lot of retaliation for many years in solitary confinement. He's been incarcerated for decades. And last week he had mentioned to us that he honestly doesn't feel like he's ever coming home. So we definitely could do him because just the standpoint that in the position that he's already put into, for him to continue to fight not just for himself but for everyone, we like to put them up on that pedestal. Those are the ones that we definitely need to make sure that we're protecting and raising noise for any type of altercations go down. So Swift, we definitely appreciate you. If your kids calm down a little bit, come off mute and talk to us. Otherwise, thanks for joining us. We also have Mr. Carr. Hello, Mr. Carr. You want to go
Good
ahead?
afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies of honor.
Hi.
Spreading love unapologetically.
You already know.
That's the big news of the world now. And that's something that's going to break barriers, and that's something going to bring a lot of light on a lot of people's lives. And spreading love unapologetically is something that a family can do at the end of every day. Me and Gailey was talking about that the other day. You know how families say the nightly prayers? You know, as an inmate, I always wanted to end my day in something positive, just to get me through the next day.
Amen.
So safety and sanity is what I called it.
Yes.
So just doing that and understanding what that is and what that can change atmosphere in the community as far as collaboratively working together as one source to really be a visual example of that reentry does work.
Yes.
And that somebody does care.
Resources,
Resources.
programs. We just need them. We need more of them.
Real
Period.
programs.
Right. Yeah, not
Yeah.
not just
From-
referrals.
correct.
Say that one more time.
We need resources and not just referrals. You know, because a lot of the organizations out here, it's all about refer, but we really need resources, people that are actually out here, boots on the ground, helping people, you know, and
Right.
With
because-
nothing,
Well, I've already dedicated my life, my testimony to doing this in being hands-on with Gay Lisa.
yes,
You know,
I see you all up in the,
we
the
appreciate
process
it. The
every
likes,
day.
the shares, the comments, the
appreciate
call-ins. Speaking of which, the lines are open, 216-939-5087.
Yep.
Call in to spread your love unapologetically. We do have a guest coming in soon as well, Dean DePiro. He is a paralegal consultant. I forget from what state, but he himself also
amen.
he also served time. He just got out after an 8-month violation on his little whatever they have. They have different, different than state, but for a medical marijuana card.
Medical marijuana.
Yeah. So yeah.
What?
You know how it is though. They have their little rules that will do anything to trip them back up into the system. So they just have to be very cautious and careful, which is why I am definitely appreciative of those that reach out to us that were formerly justice involved, because, this seems to work for them. Getting involved with SLU, staying involved with organizations, Joseph Langdon, the personal roll up on somebody and, hey, what's your
that's
story?
Joseph.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
Joseph
Because
all the way.
we need to put your guys'
That's
stories
Joseph.
out there, period. We don't care what story it is. They need to be heard. We are human beings. Things happen. People make mistakes, but we are all capable of change.
So I got a question for my guests.
Yes, ma'am.
So after hearing just a brief little summation from all of our people, how do you think that we as a community can help with our mental health part? We have the woman who is definitely overwhelmed totally with 5 kids and amongst a pandemic. We have loved ones returning home who've been in prison like forever
Ever.
and ever. And then we have
Children
and then-
right now,
right, we
especially
have
out
the
of
kids,
school.
but we also have the activists out here like and Black Lives Matter. What is the best way that we can go about helping ourselves as well?
Well, that's a great question. It's a loaded question, right?
I know.
And the thing about that, though, it all starts here. It all starts with self. And what I mean by self is that it starts in your mind. So you have to adapt a growth mindset. Because if you don't have a growth mindset, that means that when you do have a family member, I have family members that have either just gotten out of prison or been in prison and have been out for a few years or 5 years, but they are stuck in that where they were before they got locked up, right?
Right.
So for us that are out, it is important for us to keep an open mind, but to also remain positive for them, because they're dealing with a lot of demons or a lot of spirits, a lot of strongholds there. So we definitely have to be open with them and to,
Excuse me. Can I say something?
Go ahead. Yeah, you guys have any
that is easier said than done, because man, and being incarcerated, I've seen some women that was in there for some things, and it didn't really bother me. It was none of my business. You know what I mean? That was them. But now that it's actually, it hit home. It's home, and you say, people make mistakes. I'm fighting with that. That's a demon, because yes, people make mistakes and we learn from our mistakes. And those who don't learn from our mistakes, they repeat. They use it as a revolving door. I get that. But when this hit home, I don't know. I guess I'm fighting with it because, yeah, I love my niece, but I'm mad. I'm hurt. I'm more mad than anything, but then again, I'm more hurt than anything, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense to actually. I was just talking before we came in here. It's something that we were not taught, growing up or however way that your upbringing was. We were not taught to or educated on how to express our feelings and our emotions, right? So that's a tough thing to do. But for sure, you do have to. I'm not sure exactly what your faith or what your belief is, but I definitely recommend and suggest, building that relationship with God, right? With Christ, because He's the only person, right? The only person that will take away those strongholds, move those burdens off of you. Because if you're trying to do it yourself, it's never gonna work.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But you're right. It is definitely a reality. And I'll say, personal experience. My brother, he's been incarcerated quite a few times. As a result of that, my mother is the person who takes care of his children. Right? There's 3 boys. And on top of that, their mother was incarcerated as well, which is why my mother had to take the responsibility and the commitment to take care of them. Her world changed.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So I totally understand, and I relate to your story, because if my mom didn't have me or maybe 1 or 2 other people, barely, she didn't have me. And this is not me saying, oh, look at me, look what I can do. No, because you definitely have to have some support. I don't know where my mom would be if it wasn't for, for me. You know what I mean? Even if it's just me just listening to her, right? To vent. Like sometimes we may go a couple of days without talking, but then when we do talk, she was like, "Let me tell you about this boy. When you did that, you know what I'm saying?" Or his teacher call, or his teacher's calling me or emailing me because he's not doing X, Y, Z, right? So I totally understand.
What would you recommend?
I recommend. Do you have a caseworker? A case manager for the children?
Man, they was all in our face, and they did it so quick. This happened on December 23rd of last year. This all of it happened. They did it went through the system so quick. They was all in me and my wife's face. Are you guys okay? Da, 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 da. And then as soon as we went to court and then a judge finalized it and gave me permanent custody of the 2 children, they disappeared. I ain't say it. Sorry.
It's all right.
they freaking disappeared. It was like it was less work for them. Oh, we got rid of the kids. They washed their hands and went on about their business.
And you live in Youngstown.
She said she's tried children's services. They said they give her a voucher for clothes. Yeah. And then because of their income, they can't get food stamps.
No, they did give us food stamps. I'm working on medical now for my 4-month-old because they're saying that her last name is all good, but her birth certificate says Jethro. So they won't give us medical for her. So anything we get, shots or anything, we're going to have to come out of pocket for that.
Hey.
And I'm like, that's bullcrap.
Right. Yeah. And, I understand that struggle as well, because my mom actually she went through that a lot. Because of her income, she would only allow certain things.
Right.
It was a huge struggle, though.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure that she really had to sacrifice a lot. There were times, she went without. She had to change her whole schedule. She started working a 3rd shift job so that she could be with the boys during the day. Because at that time, I was working a 9 to 5 at that time.
But that's not fair. And that's what I'm struggling with. That's not fair. Everybody living a happy life.
That comes to mind. I'm going to reach out to the young ladies here so they can give you the resources of the individuals that are coming to mind, and I'll reach out to you with that. Yep.
Sorry, we just had another guest join us in studio, one of our former guests a piece ago. How you doing, lady?
I'm doing fine. Wanda Moe in the house.
Welcome back, Wanda. Wanda was just recently released. Last week she stopped in for a second, but thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
We also have Dean on the call as well. He popped in.
Hey, Dean.
Wanted to give him an opportunity real quick to introduce himself for everyone. And Dean, at any time everyone's talking, if you want to jump in, you have any type of suggestions, helpful hints, whatever, it's a free for all. So just jump up whenever you feel like the conversation is needed. But go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
All right. Thank you so much for inviting me. As they say, I'm family. My particular journey that brought me to where I'm at today in the prisoner movement, the criminal justice movement, whatever you want to call it, it was actually a unique path. I myself served 20 years in federal prison. And early in my incarceration, I went back to school and became a paralegal. And the reason why I did that is I quickly identified how the law is an enigma and our ignorance becomes our biggest vulnerability. And that's why I went to school. I spent every day of that 20 years assisting other prisoners. Been out for a few years now, continuing to do just that. I run a consulting firm that specializes in post-conviction and prisoners' rights. But because I'm also a product of the system, I suffer its injustices, such as its supervision. I have had to go back twice. So it's a struggle, and I'm not unaffected by the system. In fact, it motivates me to fight for my clients, and that's what brings me to you. So if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to. I also have a show called Injustice Talks, which basically highlights the cases that we're working on. We follow a strategy where we believe that there's strength in numbers. And when it's one defendant versus the government, he or she has little chance.
Right.
But when it's the government versus that person plus hundreds of others,
Right.
that this is injustice. As long as you're right, you'll have a chance. That's my philosophy. And that's why we certainly are on social media, why I'm here today. That's why. So that's my specific interest is in specific cases and seeking justice in those. But I do support reform. I have volunteered my effort in the abolishment of the 13th Amendment. I believe in that cause. I believe I can help there. But my 9 to 5 is, of course, working on individual cases.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Where are you at? What state is he in?
Presently, I am I go back and forth from California to Idaho. For the first time in my life, I'm not on supervision, so I could be anywhere. I could be in Ohio tomorrow if I wanted to be.
Okay.
And I'm happy about that. But that's where I'm at right now.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming to the table, Dean. We appreciate you. Like I said, Dean one of us had added each other to Facebook, and we were, obviously searching, because I post a lot. And he had reached out to me and just thought it would be great to bring him to the table because he has an expertse we don't have.
Yes.
And we need you.
We need you, Dean.
And I also plugged
You
him
on the
in
team,
with
Dean.
Abolish Slavery National Network, the movement I've been working with Free the 13th, with Max Arthur and Dennis Bebo. They offered him maybe a spot for their litigation team, so hopefully that all pans out and works. They just promoted me to a state organizer. So I'm excited. I'm very privileged and honored to take that part because we've been putting in a lot of work for the 13th Amendment. BAM and Epic were boots on ground last year for Free the 13th rally. We have one upcoming. I just got an email from Cecil Thomas. Date not set, but he's available after mid-June. So we will have a boots on ground rally for freeing the 13th Amendment. For anyone that doesn't know, slavery was never abolished. It was simply band-aided, and it's affecting our incarcerated people.
Absolutely.
So,
Which brings me to the Swift.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if his kids calm down in the background or not, but
If your kids quiet.
go ahead.
Once you reach your date of completion, but then you don't receive your paper, how can she get released from prison because they won't let her go after she caught a new charge? Yes,
I didn't understand at all.
it's a legal question.
Did
Okay.
you hear that, Dean?
Yeah. I heard get out of prison, and I had a feeling this was coming my way.
The
So,
question is, the young
okay,
lady-
if I could,
He got it.
you heard-
based on the question, it sounds like, putting it together, she was already in custody, picked up a new case, or give me the background.
She did her time and she made parole. She was released on APA parole.
Okay.
Once her year parole was completed, they never sent her final release papers. It was like 90 days later. She still didn't receive her final release papers, but technically she had been off of parole for 90 days because she had completed it. Now on that 91st day, she caught a new charge.
This is like a law school. This is like a law school
like
thing
the law
that a
school
professor wrote on the break, not a real life situation. Okay, so on the 91st day,
Charge. She did.
and what's the new charge, if you don't mind me asking? Is it very serious?
Yeah, she caught an assault charge. The judge
what-
gave her flat time on the assault charge.
Okay.
He gave her 5 years. The APA said, "Oh, you didn't complete us, regardless if it was our fault that you didn't receive your paper when you should have. Since we didn't give it to you, you owe us."
Okay, I can tell you that in jurisdictions that follow what's called determinate sentencing, where they take your history and you're penalized again for it. And the way that they do it is by putting you, for example, in categories. And one of the questions, for example, in the federal system, and I realize this isn't a federal question, would be whether you're on parole at the time. So it would have been normal if this question would have already been resolved, but because it hasn't been, the good news is she can litigate it. She can take the parole board to court and essentially sue them, looking for declaratory relief, which isn't really common. But what you're asking them to do is not give you money and not do anything, but simply declare that on this date, at this time, this person had satisfied their obligation to the state of Ohio, perhaps, and they were discharged. But you may have to take them to court and fight hard. And of course, they're going to be represented by the state attorney's office, so they have unlimited resources. But that is something that she should start now, so she doesn't have any problems later on, because she's probably going to, well, if she got the flat time, she wouldn't see the parole board, but it would certainly affect her rehabilitative efforts, probably giving her a detainer as well, which would stop her from going to the halfway house. So my advice is take care of it immediately. May require a lawsuit. If you want, I can help out with it too. Contact me after this.
We'll put you in contact with Dean. Hang on, let me just make sure. I seen Swift just jumped off. I know tomorrow was going to him next. If he pops back in, we'll bring him back on. Like I said, it's a little noisy where he's at, so lots of kids. Lots of kids.
So, Wanda, we're gonna let Wanda. You can go ahead and check in. We all checked in, and tell us about whatever you want to talk about. How your day been going? How your week was going? What you been doing?
I've been harassed.
House freedom.
House freedom.
Yes.
Today was a good day.
Good.
Today, honestly, it was a good
Look,
day.
it's so beautiful.
You did.
Thank you. Thanks to my daughter and my granddaughter.
Beautiful.
I'm still trying to get things in order with my living arrangements. The area in the house is beautiful. It's a 2-family.
Okay.
It's peaceful. sometimes it gets too quiet for me. I'm not accustomed to being alone all the time. So I try to find things to do. I have moments when I really be nervous, moments when I just try to focus on good things.
Right.
I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my family. They are very supportive.
Great.
And I'm just looking forward to participating in the activities with you ladies.
Yeah, we're excited.
I am
glad
looking
you're here.
forward to
We're
participating in activities with you ladies.
That's so great.
I heard y'all was talking about mental health.
Yes.
I am a mental health patient.
Okay, and you know that's something that's really important in regard to mental health and to, you know, having that practicing gratitude. You know, where you're saying I'm grateful for my family. Something that there's this book. It's a 90-day gratitude journal. Have you all ever heard of it?
My sister just bought me that.
Yeah, so it's like $10 on Amazon.
That's awesome.
It is a phenomenal journal. And so it takes you through 90 days to help you, you know, take on the habit every day of practicing gratitude. And one of is 3 different questions that you have. And the last thing for me today, it was to list 10 things that you're grateful for. It can be, for some people, it can be hard to do that.
Right.
But once you understand, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for so much. Right. And or here's another thing too, you know, list 10 habits or 10 things that you like to do, right? When you list those things and you start to put it into perspective, that is, you know, that is mindfulness, that is having that growth mindset, because what I really want to tap into is having something to look forward to.
Right.
When you have things to look forward to and you're staying active, you know, of course you say it's a little too peaceful. Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, I have to find things to do. But when you list those things, I can do this today. You know, I can create my vision board. What do I see my life in the next year? What do I see my life in the next 2 years, 5 years? Right? When you have those things put in perspective and you see it every single day versus something else, right? That's when you start to have that mental health, you know, the well-being. You know, health is wealth.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Say that
That's
again.
great.
Say that one more
Health
time.
is wealth.
Health is wealth.
I had the people came and delivered a stove today,
Oh,
and
like electric stove or gas stove?
gas stove.
Okay.
And what happened was they were supposed to, so everyone thought, take the old stove and unhook it and leave the new stove. But that's not how it worked.
Oh.
They left the new stove and left the old stove and left it hooked up, and it was wow. So the guy says, well, this is the way things work. And I looked, I said,
Because of the pandemic now?
no,
Or
the reason why is because their company does not have them to hook it up and all of that, because that's somebody else's job.
Yeah, the gas company and whoever is the owner of the house. So
that's what they explained, and I explained to them, I have no problem. It's okay with me. I understand you want to be paid for your labor. And I also invited them to watch the podcast today.
If y'all watching, how you doing?
Yes, because I was explaining to one of the gentlemen, they were very nice about it. I told them I just did 22 years of incarceration and I'm going to be on no static. And so please watch us today. He told me that he was going to watch. And I told him he might get a chance to find out some of my criminal history.
And that's all right.
But you're human.
That's right, because we put it out there for you.
Seriously, guys, everybody who does time is not innocent. And some people who do time are, and I'm one of the ones who admit to the fact that I was not innocent. But I am truly grateful that I have grown and that I think differently and that I feel differently about life and people. And I'm more grateful about I still have the ability to love.
Yeah.
So many people who do a lot of time, they get hard-hearted.
Right.
And you watch them and they're like robots and you just pray for them all the time and you pray for yourself. It's about a lot of prayer. And I'm so grateful that God took care of my heart for these years.
Yes. And it's powerful.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share that with you all.
Well, we appreciate you always
Thanks for
sharing.
sharing. Yeah.
We're glad that you're doing well. Like I said, recently released. It's been, I'm sure you've been counting how many days?
I would say 40.
40 days, a little over a month she's been released.
40. Oh.
God bless you.
Right.
I just wanted to talk real quick on Epic's behalf on some of the things that we've been doing with the Free the 13th movement. We do have a quarterly meeting May 18th. It will be, we'll share it from the pages. You'll be able to watch it through Zoom. Right now, I wish Max, we're going to have to get him in studio, but he's got all the statistics. We have over 10 states for this year that have actual legislation on the table to abolish slavery once and for all in the 13th Amendment, including another 10 plus states in the upcoming, their general assemblies or next legislation years.
Can you explain about that? Because, y'all know, Wanda, everybody, Bam had to go through it for 4 days straight. And people are like, slavery is not legal? Yes, it is.
So I was watching along with some of our colleagues with Abolish Slavery National Network. Louisiana just had a bill that was being voted on by the committee yesterday. And to watch how real slavery still is sickening to me. Unfortunately, Louisiana's bill was voted no. There were 9 nays, 5 yays. There was even a rep that tried to save the whole thing and was like, wait a minute, what about families that have to use Securus and this, that, and the, stuff like that, to kind of bring some knowledge to what it really is in this slave industry that we're running from our penal system. What boggles my mind is that the representatives were wanting to know how the DOJ felt about this bill. For what?
Yeah.
For what? Why does the DOJ's opinion matter whether or not we take the exception clause out the 13th Amendment or not? We know better. We know why, right? We know why.
The people know better.
Because it's the system versus us. So anything that's gonna, and they kept saying like, this is just gonna open up a bunch of can of worms, which Dean, I don't know if you've seen it, can of worms for litigation. If we take out the exception clause in the 13th Amendment, we'll have all kinds of lawsuits throughout the prison.
That's the point.
Is it? Right.
Y'all
They
got all
deserve,
split.
I don't care who you are, we are all human beings. Everyone should be afforded to a living wage. Now, I'm not saying give them top dollar $15 an hour in prison, but let's be real. We have the same human beings out here in the free world doing the same amount of labor they're doing and getting paid 5 times as much, 10 times as, Louisiana, it was 4 cents to 40 cents. Really? The same stuff that they're doing out here making $20, $25 for. Firefighters in California. They can fight fires in California, but when they're out in the restored, world, whatever you want to call it, they're not given a job to be a fireman. They don't have any opportunity or nothing. They're good when they're incarcerated, but they're not good for it when they're out here, which that's a huge problem. Slavery is very much alive, and just in case y'all didn't know, it's still very much alive here in Ohio in our Constitution, which is why that I've been glad that we've been partnered with Senator Cecil Thomas, who has legislation on the table. It was introduced on St. Patrick's Day, sitting in the committee. We have a lot of work to do. And when I say that, when I watch testimonies. Like I really thought that it would be like if it wasn't going to be passed, it would be like a real, 5-6, 4, 4-5, not 9-5.
Right.
Like it really showed that there's a lot of people that are sitting in those seats in those state houses that are all about slavery stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what we've been talking about with Abolish Slavery National Network? It is really time to start putting people that aren't for the people on blast. Max did a great job yesterday with putting the 9 representatives that voted no on the Louisiana bill. That's the stuff that we have to do. Like I said, we have this quarterly meeting. It's a national meeting on the 18th for the Free the 13th movement with Abolish Slavery National Network. Dean, I'm not sure if you were invited to that or not. I can get you the details, but I just brought Dean and Dennis to the table together because I feel like, with his paralegal, they're already building a team, because what's happening right now is the DOJ is 10 steps ahead of us. They've been watching us with this movement. So now they're doing everything and anything they can to stop this movement. So now we just they have to Abolish Slavery National Network. They already know what they're doing. They already have their people in place. They're going to be 10 steps ahead too. Because in New Jersey, they're having a problem right now because of the Department of Justice.
So what you're saying is slavery is still on books, which means that it's still in the Constitution. And so that's what we're working to have.
We are asking them
Excuse
to
me.
take out the involuntary servitude.
I have to leave right now. I have she's not a happy.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
Do you have her contact information?
Hey Lisa, just let me know when the next one is.
Okay, it's every Wednesday, but I'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you guys.
Have a blessed one.
Hey, you too. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's one thing that Epic's been focused on outside of just the SLU thing and then our parole proposal, but we're not going to talk about that today. I just really wanted to discuss the 13th Amendment and let people know. That's the thing, is educating people, because I didn't know years ago that it read that way. You see that it says no slavery, and then you're just like, okay, no slavery. No, you have to keep reading. There's an exception clause. There's a semicolon. Like, it continues on. It's a Band-Aid. It should read no slavery, period. We do have here in Ohio, like I said, Senator Cecil Thomas, who has legislation on the table. We're going to need organizations to sign on with us when we do the rally for the movement. We do have his, he is going to try to be there with us to speak to the people, which I think would be great. I'm trying to work with a few journalists just to try to get them to produce articles to bring more awareness to this, as well as working with the whole national thing. Yeah, I'll go ahead and read this here to you guys in case you didn't know. Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Section 2, Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. So it's all in the Congress's hands. Our last quarterly meeting we had a federal lawmaker who is putting forth legislation to abolish it out of the United States Constitution. But there are only a handful of states who have took that exception clause out of their 13th Amendment and abolished slavery once and for all. Here in Ohio, we need that to happen. Not even here in Ohio, but across the United States, because anyone doing any type of prison reform work or anything for equality, it's not going to happen until we address the 13th Amendment. Period.
My biggest concern is
Dean, you're
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Thomas.
When you looked at what happened with the government and Congress when Capitol Hill was overtaken,
Right.
United States got exposed in a whole lot of areas. As far as justice, as far as lawmaking and law breaking.
Right.
When it comes to an ex-offender and doing re-entry work, they are good and they are strategically set up in place to defend areas when it comes to negotiations and anything that comes against them. I worked with a reentry group out of Mansfield a couple of years ago, and we, in our training, we was trained to defend what was going on within the organization, not the inmate. And something that I'm strongly believe in by my faith, and also looking at what's going on in the government in the United States today. I agree with you when you say you have to attack certain agendas, but the support, when you think about reentry and inmates, we have to begin as a reentry and inmate to understand who we are and what type of power we do have. And it starts by learning how to speak and defend yourself, what you've been through, where you came from. I understood what the lady said, and I really respect that when she said she was guilty. But we talk about corporate people that's coming together, that's trying to gain a freedom of right after you have done. And then you've been promised us so much in reentry groups, what's going to happen. And my question is, how do you debate against the system?
Oh, can I go ahead and just bat cleanup here? Because you've asked me to answer, and I have something to say to that. And I would love to also answer to that. We're in a very unique time in this movement, and that's what it is. And just to look back even a short period of time, it wasn't always that America had 2.2 million people incarcerated. As a matter of fact, if you go back just a couple decades back, you find that not even half that amount of people were incarcerated. So this push to incarcerate a huge segment of your population is something new. And at first, politicians sold this as something that needed to happen. Right. And actually, the 13th Amendment comes in here because it was approached with this Puritan mentality that you don't go there as punishment, but you go there to be punished.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay. So now it's okay to make them work for 12 cents an hour because it's all a part of the rehabilitative process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, now after decades of that, we still have a 67% recidivism rate.
It's not working.
But more than that,
come on.
In 2007, Congress noticed that every year 10 million people get arrested in America.
Mm-hmm.
Every year.
Right.
So we now have a society that is aware of the system the way it is, and henceforth we're on YouTube right now talking about it.
Right. Amen.
The fight is not as hard as you think it is.
It's not.
Because the awareness that is being brought and the fact that it's happening, it's a discussion that's happening in the context of a broken system. Imagine this. If America lost 67% of its wars, where would we be?
Right.
Right. Right.
But yet, every time someone goes back to jail, the government failed. Mm-hmm. Why? Because taxpayers pay a lot of money, $39,000 a year, to make sure, not that they have a place to sleep, they could do that, but to make sure that they're changed. And these prison labor jobs, making little rocks out of big rocks, do not prepare someone for the society that they're going to meet when they get out.
Right.
And that was why I never, in 20 years of doing federal time, ever worked in the prison factory. Because making license plates isn't going to feed me when I need to feed myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I went to and studied law. Me.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had a system that motivated that and even made that a requirement.
Right.
And you know what's crazy is people are retaliated when they do get, like, one of our guys, and I know you guys have heard me talk about Sean Still. He's an incarcerated person who was sentenced as a juvenile, one of my husband's really great friends. He just got his paralegal degree, all that, sent to the prison, started his LLC, has never been in trouble since he's been at Trumbull at all. No tickets. The minute he started, doing good and started bringing guys to the table to learn law and teach them how to help themselves, they retaliated on him and put him in the same block that I always say is the jungle block. And set him up with a shank in his cell. He was the only one in there. So of course he has to take that rap, regardless where it came from. It's his. It's their word against his. So it's crazy to me, Dean, that you say that, because I feel that as well. But like my husband said, those are the people that they're targeting and retaliating, because they do not want anyone to get themselves out of prison. They don't.
My concern, and I hear what all of y'all are saying, but no one is really focused on our young people, our juveniles, you know, because in reality, all of this starts from a young age.
Correct.
You know, the third grade school to prison pipeline study has suggested, and this might sound like it's going off, but it all ties in the way we see it. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
If you start them off young, you know, going to detentions, getting in trouble, staying after school, sitting in suspensions and stuff, and then eventually they, you know, start going back and forth, you know, to prison.
Losing recess.
Right. I mean, the little minute things that we don't think about, you know, but we're preparing our young people for exactly what you're talking about. You know, our system has failed all of us.
Yeah.
And it's most definitely targeting our children.
And it's definitely
Moving
targeting our
forward,
children.
it is definitely targeting our
So
children.
I believe that, you know, while we can talk about recidivism, you know, I can never pronounce that word. You know, I have issues with that word. Y'all leave me alone. But we've got to attack it. You know, it's a giant. We've got to attack it in every area in order to be more effective. But I also believe it starts right here.
I agree.
No? It starts right here. You just got home, you know, 40 days ago, the support system that you're receiving, you know, being able to connect yourself to every, like with Gay Lisa, who specializes, you know, Gina and Epic, connecting people with fighting, you know, for all of us have, you know, every single person out, not just in here, but out there, you know, period. Just being able to make that connection for people, you know.
Networking is everything.
Exactly. And that's what we got to do, you know, knowing people that know that law. That know that law.
So yeah, so that's the, so even though I've been out since 2003, I suffer daily. I have just self-resolved because I didn't want to go back. So did I learn anything? No. What I just did is get out and start piling life for everything, not really knowing what I like, what I want to do. Just don't go back to prison. That's the only thing. So prison is, you know, they say it is a punishment. Okay, but you don't punish a child without an explanation, and then without means or information to not do the same thing again. Have all this uninformed information, so it's legalized, and people have been this week attacking us about this free the 13th bill. Like, you did the crime, do the crime. That's not what y'all looking at it as black and white. We're not talking about black and white people. We just talking about people and the system that y'all bring everybody back to from way back then. You're not dealing with the same type of person, first of all. So I take my punishment, but what have I learned from it? You didn't break the characteristic or trait that brought me to the punishment. You just gave me another way to manipulate when I got out not to have to go back. Then I become 50, 60 years old. Then we want to do and get ourselves together and understand that it is our thinking. It was the thinking errors from way before, way back then. But we can't go back there because I'm an adult now, according to society. But then I can't have productive relationships, friendships, none of that, because I still have them same thinking errors.
Well, I was introduced yesterday to what was the name of that? Mindset, and I'm just putting this out there because one of the things the ladies talked about yesterday was
The book
the book.
or
or the which was it?
we
No,
talked about so much
both.
yesterday.
I think she talked about it was a first. She talked about a book
Mhm.
and it had to do
Rich
with
Dad Poor Dad.
nah the mindset. I didn't bring my notes with me, y'all.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, so there was actually a book, and I actually just started today, like a few minutes. It's not like,
And it's a
but it's on YouTube. I shared it earlier.
yeah earlier today.
It's called Mindset:
Mhm.
The New Psychology of Success.
Well, we did when I
That's
got out
success, yeah.
years ago. Wright State did the psychology of incarceration. Have you heard of that book, Dean?
No, but I cannot wait to give feedback to what you're
So-
saying. I cannot wait. No.
Okay.
I
All
need to get the book because what we're talking about is so important. It is really so important.
Yeah. So the psychology of incarceration that we have self-imposed prisons. So it's self-imposed prison state of mind.
Yep.
So then when we self-imposed state of mind and then we're put physically in a prison, then the stigma that it creates, just like slavery, just like Hitler, all those things created a stigma for those people. Those people we are those people now.
Right.
But with no information. No information. So we outwardly looking for all this other stuff and going here and there, but then they say come back to yourself.
It is.
So
Thank you.
go ahead, Dean.
Yeah, there is personal responsibility. I don't, I don't want to in my advocacy and in the way that I criticize the system. I'm not saying that all these prisoners are babes of the woods and they have no responsibility and they shouldn't try to better themselves. I'm not saying any of that.
Right.
What I am saying though is I personally have seen that a system that calls itself the Department of Corrections, instead of correcting the problems that they're supposed to correct, they create them. You're looking at a guy who came into the system with no problem with authority, no racist bone in my body, but through 20 years of sitting segregated and listening to that garbage and being told that all cops suck and learning violence because you have to,
absolutely,
you become exactly what we don't want a person to be. And to think that society's paying for it on top adds insult to injury.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
But then us. How's it us?
So I have a case
right
where a young man at the age of 16 was with his uncle, who's only 1 year older, strangely, and the uncle shoots and kills a woman for her money. My client, who's charged as the accessory and convicted, didn't know his uncle was going to have a gun. He's been in prison now for many years.
Happens all the time.
He was 16 years old. Suppose I win. That's what we're shooting for.
Right.
And he gets out. Do you know that he's been stabbed twice? He's developed a drug addiction. He is remarkably put together, considering he spent 2 decades in an Alabama state prison. The system creates the problem. It not only fails to fix it, it creates it. It affirmatively creates it. Affirmatively. That's the problem with our system. It doesn't correct the problems. It creates them. And until we get to that, it's funny how everything leads to that. Remember, you had just asked about the kids. Well, because of this, we have fatherless kids.
Yeah.
You talked about getting out and the recidivism rate and how hard it is. That's because of the system. So many problems stem from this one problem. Why? Because our government is failing us.
Amen.
That's the problem. Now, granted, it's a government run by humans, and even the best of men are men at best, right? But so I think we need more accountability. We need, Shakespeare says there is no darkness but ignorance. It's been said already in this show that what we don't know it hurts us. Well, now we have no excuse because we live in an information age. Right. There is no excuse to be ignorant today.
Correct.
None. That's what they call willful ignorance. And there's some on these sites, on some of the Facebook sites, where they're interested in posting and they're interested in division and fighting and all of this stuff, and not changing the system. We have to get serious about it.
Well,
that's
that's
what we have to do.
I know you're like fresh new to the table, but that's why I thank God for these ladies right here, because this is a sisterhoodship right here. Right here, SLU is 3 or 4 organizations together as one, under one umbrella. We all have our own agendas, but it's nothing but unity, action over clout. We get along, we collaborate great together, and we do. You're right. We need more organizations like that. Unfortunately, most of these organizations are all about clout and want their face plastered to, I did this. It's not going to happen that way. Not one person or one organization is going to be able to provide change until we all come together in unity and solidarity, period. Which is what we've been doing with this Spreading Love Unapologetically, is trying to network and bring amazing people to the table that are like-minded like us, that really want to get the work done. We're not talking about it. We want to get it done.
Yeah. So, and I just want to use that as a segue into, we've been on the radio station since March, and we have some people have came, like we all coming together now. To make a long story short, we are going to have our first SLU virtual convention conference June 26th at 2 p.m. Is it 2?
I thought it was June 6th.
No,
6?
no, that's the pop-up.
You said the virtual. Yeah. So we're doing our first virtual. So we want to bring all of our guests, people of interest.
It's going to be a statewide organizing call. And then if anyone outside of Ohio wants to partake in this as well, because like I said, the bigger the village, the more work that can be done. We need to build an army. There might be something that, a surrounding state from Ohio, they might need us to come to Pennsylvania or Michigan. We are all for that. But we definitely need to collaborate and network and make this bigger. Signing on organizations that no matter what our movements are, we're all in the same fight. We're trying to get to the same destination.
That's right.
We're in different cars, different agendas, but we're all headed to the same place.
Destination.
Why can't we follow each other?
We're all here to serve.
Correct. So, we're going to do that June 26th. I'm sorry. I thought you were thinking the pop-up.
The pop-up is, we can talk about that too.
We're going to do a statewide Zoom call. Actually, we should just call it a nationwide organizing call, just to bring like-minded people to the table. That way, in case we do need something or do need expertise in something or whatever, it's there. We're creating unity.
Yes.
And that's what I keep saying. We need unity in the community before we can accomplish anything. Period. That's why I love BAM, because we were boots on ground, every prison except for 2 in Ohio. They showed up. We went to the prison director's house in her neighborhood.
That's right.
Because it's personal to us.
It is personal. My loved one has been in prison for 30 years. He's been, what you call it? 3 times.
Flapped.
3 times. So he's in there under the old law.
Yeah, we do. We have 4 laws in our prison system here in Ohio, and it's uncalled for. Pop-up shop, food, music, raffles, 11417 Miles Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113, I think it is. They have the wrong zip code on the flyer. 2 to 6 p.m., June 6th. It's a Sunday. If y'all can come out and support, we would definitely appreciate it. We will have a few things for sale. Shirts included, masks, etc. There are also other people that have signed on during this pop-up, so it won't just be us. This will be a community thing. So please show up, show out. And then, stay tuned in for that link for that nationwide organizing call.
Yes, I'm excited.
And we'll have large T-shirts, 4 or 5X's for the larger people.
Oh, yeah, there will be, we got it. Dean, anything you would like to add to the table? Anything you specifically are working on, need help with? Anything?
Yes.
How people can reach out to you? Lay it all on the table.
Oh, you know, and of course, shameless plugging now ensues. So of course that I want to just say that yes, I do need help, and I want to tell you why, because like I say, I believe there's strength in numbers, and the cases that we work on, we're very, very selective. Not saying that more people don't need help, but really the wrongfully convicted is our target. So if you have an interest in this area, there are soldiers that are needed. Even if you aren't a lawyer or you don't have legal training, that doesn't mean you can't be a soldier. You can make phone calls. You can post things. There's things you can do to bring awareness to injustice. So how do we defeat ignorance? Well, through information and the dissemination of information. And storytelling and programs and all that stuff brings that knowledge to the people that we need in order for them to get in the cases. So that's what we do. I want to share our number. If you or a loved one finds yourself in need of help from someone who has been there, please reach out to us. Our number is area code 360-940-0800. 360-940-0800. And yeah, talk to us.
Static Radio's link. That is Dean's number to get a hold of him. Go ahead, Dean.
Yeah, and then also on our Facebook page, which is DP Aero Consultants. Maybe we could just put a link up so writing the name and everything. We can do that, and just reach out to us. We'll talk to you about the case. We'll see. Again, if you're looking to get involved, that's different. We're actually running a thing right now. You know, I thought about it. Before you go into law, you know, you have to spend a lot of time studying before you actually do the thing that you're going to do for your whole career. It's one of those things, right? You spend a few years doing one type of activity, and then you never do that again, really. And instead, you're doing this. So what we want to do is give people an opportunity to try it out to see if this is something they would want to do. So it's an internship where if you're interested in learning how to research, how to identify legal issues, how to write motions and petitions. You know, it's one thing to have the desire to help someone, but how about learning how to actually help them, how to change the legal outcome? We'll teach you how to do that. And it's a great opportunity for you to learn in the trenches. We work on cases all over the country, federal and state. One thing having in common is injustice. So that gives you an opportunity. So again, you have the number. I want to thank you for inviting me on here.
We are glad you joined us. Actually, like I said, keep in touch, stay in tune. You know, the whole wrongful conviction thing is extremely personal to me. You and I haven't really got to talk much, but, you know, my husband is wrongfully incarcerated. He's been since he was a juvenile. He was 17 years old. I've been solely fighting. I'm going to get emotional. I've been solely fighting on my own for the last 6 years, exposing his case myself. Took me years to get the prosecutor files and the police files. They miraculously slipped through. His police files specifically being Empathy Day. And I was on a Dream Corps panel for Van Jones for Empathy Day. It was a Virginia panel, but it was still great to be a part of that because, you know, Van Jones is moving mountains for real. But then the next day, I had lost my job that week, was on this panel, felt honored and privileged. And then the next day, I was contacted by the lawyer that we retained, which that's the first time I've really threw that out there. Yes, we have retained a lawyer. She's a beast. She's a beast. She's a pit bull in a skirt here in Cleveland, Ohio, the best lawyer in Cleveland. Not name dropping because she needs to get my husband out. But no, seriously, like my husband finally has his chance after 20 years to sit down with a lawyer and lay everything on the table with his case. So this is very moving for us. You know, like I've been really excited. I keep saying my husband's coming home, but this is finally foot in the door. So Dean, I definitely appreciate, even, I know you said specifics. There's not a lot out there that really do tend to the wrongfully incarcerated. And you're absolutely right. 54% of wrongful incarcerations are subject to police and prosecutor misconduct. And that's what people fail to realize is, you know, everyone deserves to be in prison. That's not true. We have actual, factual, innocent people sitting inside these walls being neglected, abused, retaliated on, mistreated, living in inhumane conditions. It's not okay. It's not okay. Everything that my husband's dealt with for the last 20 years, it's not okay. Anything that anyone, even committing the crime that they're dealing with right now, it's not okay. People really need to start being mindful on the real issues that are really going on inside those walls, because that's why they don't let media in there. That's why they don't let cell phones in there. They don't want reality to get out to us. And that's why I thank God for the organizations that are boots on ground fighting every single day to expose whatever it may be. Especially like right now, the media, like they're really getting involved. So anytime you have problems, issues, your loved ones are being, reach out to media.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I just wanted to a little bit touch on the things that have been going on that we already did. So I do want to give some shout outs to all the people who follow us, comment, support us, ask to come on the show, give their information, give their opinions, give up themselves.
We do need contact information for Charmaine. Swift Justice did reach out to me. He got a personal inbox asking for a contact information for donations or whatever. So we do that.
So we need to talk about June the 6th, June the 26th, and August the 29th. Y'all talk about August the 29th. Okay.
We didn't talk about that yet.
No, we didn't talk about
So August the 29th is going to be our first big fundraiser.
Oh, we're good. It was just extra noise.
That's going to be our first big collab fundraiser. T-shirts are on sale. Everybody, T-shirts are on sale right now.
No pre-order.
There you go.
Spreading love unapologetically. Whichever way I gotta go.
A donation of $25 for what size?
It's anything up to extra large, and then anything above an extra large is $2 extra. So 27 for.
I thought they were 35.
How do you pay for it? Is it Cash App, Zelle, just on your site?
I got Zelle, PayPal.
Yeah. Oh, all of you? Okay.
Yeah, it's a collaboration between the three organizations and the missions and movements that we're working on with embracing, empowering, and educating and trying to make people like-minded. I know Gay Lisa was doing shout-outs today. I got a phone call from Kenosha. If you're listening, Kenosha, hello. I don't want to leave Mr. Ridley out the mix. A year ago was when Carlos Ridley, who was an Ohio Innocence Project, enslaved at Pickaway. They were waiting on the judge to test the DNA evidence, which they ended up denying testing it, which boils my blood. You have DNA, you should test it. But anyhow, he passed away due to COVID last year in Pickaway. He was one of the ones that we really went ham for when we were out there, boots on ground. She called to check on me today. Said she had a dream about Epic. So it was nice to hear from her. Like I said, her dad passed away a year ago, and if it wasn't for the video chat she had with her father, she would have never known that anything was wrong with them. So the Ridley family, God bless you guys. We're still doing everything in our willpower to make sure that your father gets the justice he truly does deserve, regardless if he's above now or not. Their family's been a true blessing to Epic, and like I said, Carlos Ridley, before he had passed away, he had told his daughters to reach out to Epic. They're not from Ohio, so they're just like, okay. And then when this happened, we were the ones that got them the media they needed to get his story out there. Like I said, he's an Ohio Innocence Project, so they did what they could for him, but we made sure it went national, international, Democracy Now, all them. We made sure that they covered his story. So rest in peace, Carlos Ridley. Justice is coming to your families. She says she knows the fight's not over. She's giving it all to God. And, God will let them know when justice is reserved for him. So,
a shout out to Mary Stout, Karen Saylor, Lisa Seward, Joseph. Hi, Coco. She just contacted me. How are you? Shout out to Coco. Ed Hennings. He's been following us.
Miss Amira Rose.
Amira Rose. Brad Marks. Shout out to you guys and everybody else that comments, supports, and all that. We are interested. If you want to come on and talk or just be a part of, sit in on whatever, we welcome anybody and everybody, and we'll continue to spread love unapologetically everywhere we go.
Shout out to Janice Durant.
Shout out to Janice Durant.
Yes.
Shout out to the Epic crew, Lex and Terry. Love you, ladies.
Yep.
Long time, my partners.
Yep. Shout out to Karina.
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 The Zam in the house. I want to shout out Solomon Pope Radio Show on No Static Radio.
No Static Radio.
Yes,
Thank you for giving us this
Bub and
platform.
Wax.
Man,
All
Bub
the
and
No
Wax.
Static
Yes.
lineup. Everybody on
Every
the
single
lineup.
one. Yes, and we got
Shout
some really
you out.
exciting things coming up. Our
Mhm.
telethon is coming up with everyone from No Static. I want to shout out my team. I can't do nothing without them. In particular, Teresa Rogers, who happens to be my cousin as well.
Mhm.
So Roger Strong in the house for us. I want to shout out my battles who have donated to our cause from the Army. I'm really thankful for them. They actually
Thank y'all.
listen
Mhm.
and have sponsored us at least once.
Yes.
I want to shout out for what's to come. I want to thank God for what's to come,
Thank
for what
you,
He's
Lord.
doing, and
Thank
what He's, I want to thank Him for that because we brought this together.
For sure.
And He's, and I could see, even though He hasn't given us the whole big plan, I'm really thankful for each and every small segment that
Yes.
He's,
He want us to hold the
given us.
candle.
Yes, and
We
I'm
candle
thankful for
holders.
that. I'm thankful for the blessing of being able to serve. This is not about recognition. All of us, well, most of us, prefer to, like I almost sat over there yesterday.
Mhm.
They wouldn't let me. But I'm really thankful. You guys are some really dynamic ladies.
Thank you.
I've learned from each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all. And shout out to Marie.
Yes. Decisive on the ones,
We
too.
love her to death. Thank you for
Everything
giving us
else.
this opportunity and
And
platform.
I never mention my kids.
Oh, you better mention
I
the
know,
babies.
man. My daughter made me breakfast this morning.
Oh,
Shout
wow.
out, Butter.
Nice.
All right, Cash.
I was like, hey.
Hey, yeah.
Yes, yo. Shara, thank you, Cash, for this morning. Thank you for listening to Mommy. Thank you to Nicole and Mr. Israel. Thank you for Ricardo and thank you for Taran. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and my 6 grandkids. We ain't going through all of them names.
Yeah.
You want to shout out?
Well, let's see who I want to shout out. Definitely shouting out my team. My team is phenomenal. The Hutchins, we call it the Hutch Bunch. So we're definitely building a legacy, creating a community of positivity, growth mindset, definitely making sure people in our community understand finances.
Yes.
For sure, shout out to my team for doing that because we're screaming from the rooftops how important it is to invest, how important it is to have life insurance. Because if there is a family member that is incarcerated, if they do pass away, guess what? The family benefits from that. Unfortunately, we have that loss of life. However, we could do something with that. We can put that money into a cause. We could put it to boots on the ground or other resources, or into the children who are left behind. Like I was talking about last night. Life insurance is a love letter to your family. What does your love letter say? Do you even have a love letter to your family? Right? So that's really important, and it's very affordable to do that. We also make sure that our people in our community, people that we live around, understand that you can invest $25. Doesn't have to be $1,000. Doesn't have to be $10,000, and it's free. The consultation is very free. Where other firms, they want to charge you $2,500 to do that, right? And the same thing goes with mental health. You definitely want to reach out if you're having struggles, if you don't feel like yourself, right? It's okay to tell somebody. Reach out and say, I just don't feel like myself. That is enough.
It's okay
You
not
know,
to be
it's
okay.
okay not to be okay.
Men.
That's right.
Men too. You guys
know?
too. Please.
Yeah. Yeah. So mental health has definitely impacted my life and my family's life. So I'm very compassionate and empathetic when it comes to that. If something's not right, say it. It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you.
Dean, any final last words from you, sir?
No, just keep up the good work. Thank you so much for bringing me here. Even though, yeah, we work on different things. We're in the same war, and just good job. Really good job. How much I know from experience that it takes courage to say, hey, I'm going to be a television personality now, and you jump into that. Oh, and I'm going to learn how to edit too. That's not easy to do what you guys are doing. So congratulations.
Well, we
Thank you.
appreciate you for joining us in studio here on through StreamYard. Like I said, you're more than welcome to join us at any time. We definitely would love your expertise. We don't have a legit paralegal on any of our teams. So I will definitely be giving your contact information out. I do have a friend named Janine that called me today, and I felt bad for her because I've been through the struggle with trying to get my husband's case exposed, and she's going through, that hard spot I've been at already with trying to get records. So I did give her your information, so she'll be reaching out to you as well. I appreciate you offering your help and your expertise to not just us, but everyone on this call. Again, guys, his number is 360-940-0800. If you have any questions, concerns, a wrongful convicted loved one, please reach out to him and see if he can help. He's offered it. Take it. Thanks again.
And that goes for you guys too. Just so you know, you guys have a big brother to call if anyone picks on you guys. If you need any help, you know that we really need to start really being a team and being on this thing. This isn't about our personalities. This is an emergency situation where people are dying in prison. We don't have time to argue over the color of the carpet. Let's get together and make it happen. So call me anytime you need me. I'm on your side.
We want you to start working on that trip to Ohio though, so you can be sitting right here at the table with us.
It's on my list. I'm coming there for sure.
I got a couple of shout outs. I want to shout out Jay, who is with what's the name of her organization?
Woke LLC.
Woke LLC. I want to shout out. Say her name for me,
Marcita Ferguson.
Yes, Marcita Ferguson. And I want to shout out Kelly Faulkner Williams. Just some dynamic.
Blue sugar.
Man, blue sugar. Dynamic women. And along with Nikki, that I had the opportunity to sit with and honored to sit with yesterday. I gotta shout all y'all out, man, because whoa. Whew, I could barely sleep last night, so I'm thankful. Okay, so our dates. June 6th, SLU will be at a pop-up June 6th, and we will have our t-shirts and some food and some other stuff for donations.
Yes, we definitely need donations.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate the likes, the shares, and everything like that.
Yes.
But
June 6th.
it takes funds to keep an organization going and moving forward.
And then June 26th is SLU is our virtual
organizing call.
And it's from 2 to 4.
Dean, you writing these dates down?
No, absolutely not. Thank God this is recorded and I can go back to it. I'm really happy.
All right.
Okay. And I definitely would like to get more information.
Yes.
Because I know so many ladies who are incarcerated who's doing so much time and they want to get life insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're being blocked from getting life insurance there. So it's not as easy to get life insurance as you think incarcerated.
Oh no, trust me, I totally understand that. And I do have a friend who will be beneficial in that situation.
Excellent.
Yes, so I do have a girlfriend who can, she's a financial consultant from that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, so she can help with that.
So maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I'll
I'm,
give you my
I'm
number.
under the impression that basically if you're not a lawyer, you're not getting any financial papers signed by anyone.
Mm.
You know, because you have to come
Yeah.
face to face
Mhm.
in order to sign your name to get your insurance. So you have to have a legal represent to get
Not
to visit.
exactly, because this is the there's been so many blessings with this pestilence or this with COVID, right? Because with COVID, it's changed a lot. You know, there's this thing called Zoom. So it's a third party conference. So once you recognize that this is how this transaction is happening, it's all electronic.
That's how they do
So
it
your
in the
social,
counties
your
and cities.
social
and
security number
they
is
sit you
listed as your
before there
electronic
for
signature.
all different stuff. It's just
Oh,
like
okay.
it's just
Yeah.
like going
So
to
everything's like
Yeah.
this now.
right.
We're
Yeah.
doing it, so.
All right, y'all. So if that's it, we're gonna go ahead and end the show. Close out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
again,
Thank
Dee.
you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nice
for
meeting
coming.
you.
All
I'll
right,
be
thank
calling.
you.
We're out of here.
Okay. We'll be seeing each other soon for sure.
Listen.
Bye.
Y'all make sure y'all tell them. See y'all later.
Bye.
Hey.
Picture time.